Okay, now I'm live. Okay. Whoo, child, this whole YouTube thing is interesting to say the least. But now that I'm live, I want to see if anybody's going to come through. Hence the title Late Night Creep. I had a massive headache earlier and I got caught up, so I didn't do the live before this time period. But I'm here, c'est la vie, and I'm gonna see who's up. If no one's up, which is perfectly fine, I'll end the live and do it probably later on today while people are actually up. But I want to see if anybody's up during these hours, just to key, nothing serious. um, how was y'all's day? How was y'all's Friday? My Friday was pretty chill. I had to do laundry because I don't want my laundry to pile up, so did that mostly for my day and had a massive headache, took a nap, woke up and showered and all that good stuff, got caught up, and now I'm doing this live. So, yeah. I did a video on Instagram about the whole, hold on. I did a video on Instagram about the whole little boozy situation. And like, I don't know why people are shocked about the Boozy situation because it's like this guy has never said that he wasn't what he was. Like he's never pretended to be a leader, a philosopher, even a good human being. I mean, he's always showed his ass and got women to show their ass and promised them money and didn't even give them money. Like he's always been a trash bag. He's always been a creep. He's always been a weirdo. So now that he's confessed while he was drunk and high that he allowed his son to, not even allowed, he orchestrated his son to get fellatio from a grown, super grown woman. Why are you shocked? Why are you shocked? And this is fake outrage because I'm pretty sure if he puts out a quote unquote cool song or he puts out some shit out there, people will forget about it and people will forgive him and they'll be back on the Boozy train. So I don't know why people are giving the fake outrage because y'all was rocking with Boozy when he had women showing their vaginas, their areolas, their ass cracks on Instagram. Y'all was with Boozy when Boozy threatened to punch his daughter. Y'all was with Boozy when Boozy allegedly set up his baby mama's brother to be gunned down. Like, y'all was with Boozy. Y'all was with Boozy. Y'all was with Boozy when Boozy was talking about Dwayne Wade's son, talking about, oh, don't cut off his dick, don't cut off his dick. No one said anything about a dick. But let Boozy come into the equation and start talking about an underage boy's penis. And the thing about Boozy, he's always fascinated by penises. He's always fascinated by gay men, but then claims that he doesn't like gay men. Every conversation he brings up a gay person, whether it's Dwayne Wade's child, whether it's his own child, and making sure that he's getting him ready. Ready for what? To be a naker like him? But he's getting him ready. He has issues with LGBTQ promotion. Like he is just so anti-gay, but so fascinated because this is the same man who said while he was in prison, he walked in two men engaging in sexual acts, and he just sat there and saw the whole full on action. Lights, camera, action. He watched the shit play out, but let him tell it. He's not into homosexuality. So this man is clearly in the closet and clearly going through sexual identity issues. And I talked about that on Instagram. And it's a two-parter video. Usually when I make long videos on Instagram, it's just one video. But Instagram, for whatever reason, wasn't allowing me to put up that video, so I had to chop it in two. And it's basically titled Boozy Leave Black Boys Peens Alone, and it's a part one, it's a part two on my Instagram page at paint your truth underscore. Don't forget the underscore. And I'm telling you, there will be information, there will be video, there will be some type of concrete fact that will come out the closet like Boozy needs to, and will basically put Boozy on blast for being a closeted homosexual. Mark my words, because that man is too involved with gay issues and so scared, fearful that his child might be gay because he's gay. He's a thugalicious nigga. He's a homie over hoes nigga. And he's afraid that his son will come out, his son will manifest his shadow side. His shadow side is basically like in dick on a low. That's why he stays in and out of prison. A man who likes going in and out of prison, a man who's a repeat offender, likes dick. Because anybody with any type of common sense would not want to go to prison once, never mind multiple times. There's someone back in prison that Boozy can't wait to go see. And that's just that on that. A lot of men who are gay for stay or engaging in sexual acts in prison, they don't look at themselves as gay if they're the one receiving or if they're the one penetrating. And I believe, and trust and believe me, I believe that's what Boozy's on. He's on that, oh, I'm not a punk, I'm not a F, I'm not gay because I'm not the one getting on my knees, I'm not the one being bent over, but he's the one bending other people over, and he's the one putting his peen in people's mouths. Mark my words, something's gonna come out. In his drunk and high state when he's giving his Instagram stories, story time, he'll probably let it slip out his damn self. Super grown, super grown. But I don't put anything past the women who have sex with Boozy, who have children with Boozy. Boozy looks like Jeepers Creeper. Boozy looks like a demonic entity. Why would you want to fuck him? Half the time he's drunk and high. He has raccoon eyes because he stays on that crack or whatever he's doing. But you want to fuck him, but you want to have kids by him? Even though he's abusive, he's violent, he is a thugalicious nigga, but you still he fucking him. Okay. This is one plantation buck shit, and I'm just not surprised because it's like, what do you expect from niggers? This is classic nigger behavior. Gang of kids in and out of prison, criminality, violence, anti-gay rhetoric, low-key gay than their damn selves. What do you expect from niggers? And that's why if you're a black woman with any type of sense or have something to lose, you will divest from niggers. Nakers stand, nakers themselves, women who support nakers, you would remove yourself from nakers in general because nakers are very fucking dangerous. They're dangerous, they are malicious, they are calculating, they are revengeful, they ruminate on shit. They always see themselves as victims, and this society sees nakers as victims. Hence why Aubrey, was it Ahmad Aubrey, can basically be staking out a house so he can later on hit, is now the victim. Who jogs in Tim's and khakis? Who jogs 12 miles away from their home? Come on now, common sense. He fit the description of someone who was in that neighborhood prior who robbed that neighborhood. Come on now. But let the liberal media sell it. He's the victim. But y'all need to think, if you have something worth preserving, whether it's property, people, whatever, you're going to preserve it even if it means to your death or the person's death. And that's just that on that. But because in Nakerstan, everything is for the God, everything is for the scam. Nothing is valuable but the phallus, the Naker phallus. That's why y'all are shocked when white men actually defend their property, defend the things that they love. Because in Blackerstan, the only thing y'all defend is a black male phallus. Even when it leaves you as baby mamas, even when it beats you, even when it degrades you, even when it sexually assaults you, it doesn't matter because a black phallus is what matters to you. And y'all's love for the black phallus is going to be the detriment and the end of y'all. And that's just that on that. Um, it's interesting because I didn't see 2020 being the way that it is now, but I see what 2020 is here for. Like in the beginning of the year, I saw 2020 as like new beginnings, visual, um, 2020 hindsight and whatnot. And I saw it as a way for people to like see the best version of themselves and then craft that, be the magicians in their lives. But now I'm seeing 2020 is exposing the things that we perceive to be a stable force, whether it's the economy, whether it's government, and even the people that we thought we could rely on. Corona, which is funny because Corona means head. Corona is exposing everything that we believed that was true, whether it was your love for the nakers who kill you, whether it's belief in the system who doesn't give a fuck about you, whether it's your quote unquote friends and families who are leaving you in the dust during Corona. 2020 is exposing the truth of human nature as well as, hey, Amber, look at you coming through on the late night creep, girl. 2020 is exposing everything that is wrong with the system as well as it's holding a mirror against our own reflection. It's showing us how the way we went about things and the way that we believe things to be true isn't what it is. From this rat race that we so believe in, and we believe that this is the system of things, and we realize that at the end of the day this rat race only makes you lose time, lose your mind, and when something like that's so insecure like a pandemic happens, you have no security. The same boss who was up your ass and talking about, oh, we're family and we're all one and we support each other. Have they called you during the pandemic? Did they make sure that you had enough food? Did they make sure that your bills was paid? Did they put you some money to pay the rent? No? Oh, I. It's just, it's interesting how 2020 played out because 2020 definitely crushed some plans that I had in the motion, but on the back end, 2020 has enabled me to push the same plans just in a different direction that's going to give me so much results in the future sense that I can't really be mad. I mean, trust and believe me, like I was gonna get a good bag if the pandemic wasn't a pandemic. But now that the pandemic is a pandemic, I'm gonna get a bigger bag, a secured bag, and a bag that's gonna be able to be divided and fruitful for not just now, but tomorrow and the day after and several years after. So in the grand scheme of things, I think this was the divine telling me, like, you're on the right track, but you need to go a different direction because this is good, but this is better. And I see it. LOL, I'm always up randomly. I think 2020 is showing us and the pinks what's real and what's not. That is true. That is true. Like a lot of people have to sit and think like, what was the purpose of all this? What was the purpose of engaging in a rat race? What was the purpose of putting this job before myself? What was the purpose of being with the significant other that now that I have to be quarantined with them, I have to be locked down with them, I don't even like them. I don't even care for their existence. They make my ass itch. Their breath stinks, or they're so lazy. They don't know how to be a man, or whatever the case may be. It's making you reevaluate yourself and reevaluate the decisions that you made and ask yourself like, was this in your best benefit? And a lot of people are looking and saying this was not in my best benefit, and now it's forcing you to find and figure out what is in your best benefit and how do you create that. These companies act superior and tell folks to have 3 months worth of savings, but here they are on their last leg. That was the most interesting part to me because it's like, how do y'all judge us and talk about how we're welfare queens and we need to get off our asses and pull ourselves by the bootstraps, but y'all ain't got reserves? Y'all ain't got reserves? So how is it everybody stunting on the gram? How's everybody going to Dubai on the gram? How does everybody live in mansions? How is it everybody got Gucci and Fendi? But even multi-million dollar companies ain't got reserves. So was everybody running on empty? Was everybody fronting? Was everybody in debt? Or did everybody swipe their credit card? Because this don't make no goddamn sense. Like I understand the regular Joe Schmo not having 3 months of savings because it's hard to make ends meet. But you telling me big brands, big corporations, franchises ain't got 3 months of savings? Then why are we all in this illusion to be your own boss and work for yourself and do this, that, and the third? And meanwhile, everybody is working paycheck to paycheck, even supposedly the CEO and president. What is going on? This is all an illusion because it benefits no one but the banks and the politicians, but everybody else supposedly is screwed. This don't make no goddamn sense. Ripping and running to jobs that don't give a fuck about you, running on a hamster wheel for a few coins and probably unhealthy food. Pathetic. Exactly. Exactly. I'm pretty sure for most people, the quarantine was the first time they actually had a vacation in years. I know people who would be sick, like almost dead, and still get their asses up to go to their job, still get their asses up to go to work, and they don't like their job. Hate it, but that's what pays the bills. And because we had to be at home, we had to self-reflect. A lot of people are asking themselves, what was this all for? Like, what was the purpose of this? Was it worth it? And a lot of people are figuring out this wasn't worth it, which is great because now you can figure out what is worth it, what does fit your fancy. Because this system ain't it. And the thing about it is, like, I'm not saying I want this, because Lord knows I don't know how to shoot a gun. But I'm surprised there's not more outrage. I'm surprised there's not more like protests and riots and that sort of thing happening, because I'm just like, everybody's kind of like, we don't want to be quarantined. But shit, I guess we're gonna be quarantined. This $1,200 check ain't good enough. But I guess I'm gonna take this $1,200 check. It's like we don't like how things are, but we don't feel compelled to do anything about it, which is weird. Because even if you want to look at white people protested because it was gonna be tax on their tea. They dumped that shit over on the Boston Harbor and was like, I get your tax how? We're not even drinking the tea. Fuck the tea. You can't tax us. And now we're in a global pandemic. We can't even buy toilet paper to wipe our asses, even if we could find toilet paper. And we're pissed the fuck off, but we're kind of like, I'm so mad. And I'm going to take to Twitter. I'm so mad. I'm going to make a YouTube video. But it's not, I'm so mad. I'm going to do something about it. And it's just very weird. It's a weird space. Very weird. Speaking of the be your own boss, I wonder how those clowns who brag about I have my own business feel right now. Child, they getting that SBA loan. They're getting that special small business funding, but that ain't enough. And apparently Carly Red's boo thing for the moment, he was taking that money and he was splurging that on Carly Red's fake ass and cars and back child support and shit. Now he's about to get locked up. Because one thing you're not supposed to play with is the feds, especially Fed money. Fed money will bury you underneath the damn jail cell. And he took Fed money thinking that he's gonna trick that shit off, which is stupid because the Fed is always gonna find out, especially if you're on a reality TV show, dummy. So I'm like, Naker's gonna do Naker shit. Lock his ass up. Lock his dumbass ass up. But even those who are like, I have my own business. I don't work for the white man. They struggling the most. Those black businesses, especially those small black businesses, they're struggling the most, especially if they market their business and their products specifically towards black folks. And black folks to begin with don't got no damn money, and black folks right now in the pandemic definitely didn't got no damn money. I don't know how you gonna get funded, sis. I don't know how you're gonna get funded. I hope Farrakhan's gonna cut you a check. I hope these pro-blackers gonna cut you a check. I hope the Hebrew Israelites are gonna cut you a check. I heard that he got 2 mil. He could have stored that in overseas account and put his name, his mama name on or something. He could have hidden that. I don't think so, because like you have to prove the money that they give you, what you've done with it. You have to prove that you paid your employees, you kept the lights on, you bought more products. It's basically funding you. It's kind of like when you start a new business and you don't have that stream of customers. So you have to keep the lights on and the bills paid, regardless if you have 1,000 customers a day or no customers. So since people are not having customers, they're funding the money as if you had customers during this period of lockdown. So you have to show that you're still paying the bills. Hold on. You have to show that you're still paying the bills, that you're still paying your employees, that you're still doing the regular schmegular stuff as if the pandemic didn't happen. So you couldn't. like put it in a Swiss account and do X, Y, and Z because you have to provide proof. And to even get into the SBA loan program, you have to show that you were already getting income prior to COVID-19. You have to show how many employees you have. So it's a lot of paperwork and um, tracing. So you couldn't front it if you wanted to, because especially him, he said he had a trucking company. So if you had a trucking company, I would have to see the damn trucks. If I don't see at least one truck, I'm looking at you like, What's going on? Like, what's happening?" And then he said he had 107 employees. So if I come through to your quote unquote corporation, business establishment, whatever, and I don't at least see 10 people, I'm gonna look at you like, what is this? So it wasn't gonna work out for him. He dumb. He a naker. Farrakhan have perm to buy. He don't care about those niggas. Farrakhan got perm to buy and women to get his dick wet from. He ain't got no money for nobody. Shit. When he orchestrated that hit on Malcolm, he didn't have no money for Betty and the daughters to stay. Should he damn near kicked them out of their house. That's some Nation of Islam tea. That nigger didn't give a fuck about Betty or them kids. So we shall see as the table turns with Corona. We will see what is the end result. Because cities are starting to open up, but it's like, or states, shall I say, but it's like you don't have enough masks, you don't have hand sanitizers. Shit, people are still out here without motherfucking toilet paper. There's no bleach. Like, how are you going to protect yourself? How are you going to protect other people? This everybody wearing mask shit ain't it. Because there's people who were able to contract corona and they were at home, they were self quarantining, they were in lockdown. So if people are getting corona while they're at home, then what do you think when people are back to being open, businesses are back to being robust? And I live in a metropolitan city. Any morning commute or evening commute, people are literally packed like sardines. So if we go back to regular schmegular life, people are going to be packed on top of each other with COVID-19. That's not okay, nor is that good. That's a public safety issue. Now, I understand in like those mid-western states or even those southern states where there's more space that it's not so packed. I understand. But within those metropolitan cities, I just see a big boom once again. And this herd immune thing that they're talking about, I don't know how that works, but since we don't got enough equipment, we don't have enough PPE for the medical personnel, we definitely don't have it for the regular schmegular person. So even if we want to have this whole herd immunity thing, I don't think it's going to work. And I don't think we're even prepared to make it work or see how that works. Trump was out here talking about he don't need a mask, he don't need a mask. Now that White House has exposure to the coronavirus and everybody else has to be quarantined. So it's like people are playing with people's lives. People are not even considering like people's lives. I remember some governor, I want to say it was in Texas, who was like, there's more important things than living. And I was like, you know, the government is brazen and they don't give a flying fuck about people when they can fix their mouth to say there's more important things than living. But these are the people that we've put in office that we have elected, and this is how they feel about us. They'll be all right in their mansions, they'll be all right in their condos, they'll be all right with their lives. Even though they're boomers and their time has came and went and it's time for them to kick the bucket, they'll hold on to their last little 8 years of living. But for us, they don't give a fuck. And that's a problem. But then again, we're upset about it, but we're not upset about it and compelled to do something. We're just upset enough to be like, that's wrong. And let's write a Twitter thesis about it. Let's write a blog article about it. Let's do a YouTube video dragging about it. But we're not compelled enough to like do more, like solid shit. I don't know. It's just a weird time to be alive. Make sure you wear your mask, gloves, and Lysol everything down. Facts. Even mail. Even fucking mail. And if you get like mail that is materials that you put on your body, throw that bitch in a washer, throw that bitch in a dryer. You have to. As soon as you have to. I don't believe people are gonna stick to that. I think people are gonna either hop the border into Canada to do what they want to do or hop the border into Mexico to do what they want to do. I don't believe people are just gonna stay put. Especially the summer's coming in and people want to have a hot girl summer, people want to throw that ass in a circle. I just don't believe people are gonna stay put where they're at and keep things small. I just don't believe. So there's going to be a lot of people trying to creeping and come through and do what they need to do or do what they want to do and then expose other people to a different strand or whatever else out there. And then people going to act like Steve Urkel. Did I do that? People are going to act like, oh, I didn't know, because people are selfish. Just like when they say quarantine, lockdown, don't have parties, don't have more than 10 people in a group. What do people do? Throw parties. What do people do? Have little mini functions. And then when the cops shut it down, oh, the cops are targeting me. But then when everybody has a spike of corona, oh, it's the government setting us up. This the government purposely giving it to us. You just can't tell people nothing today because everybody's opinion matters, even when it doesn't. Everybody has a soapbox, everybody has a microphone, and everybody thinks that they are credible enough to give advice or to talk their shit. And that's the dangers of the internet, to be honest. That's the dangers of the internet. At one particular time, you had to have actual credentials and it had to matter for you to say some shit. Now anybody can say some shit, and that's the dangerous part. So, you don't say, but I think the winter 2020 will snatch some edges because there's no vaccine that's coming anytime soon. We ain't got no vaccines for the flu. All they do is change the way the medicine is for each year by guesstimations. There's no certainty that the flu shot in, let's say, for example, the flu shot for 2019 was manipulated in projection of how the flu will interact with the body for 2019 compared to 2018. But that's not a surefire proof way of making sure that everybody who got the flu shot in 2019 would be able to live and be safe. There's no concrete in this manipulating of the flu shot. You just guess. And there's no actual cure for the flu, just like there's no cure for the cold. And since corona is a worse version of the common flu, and a lot of people die of the flu, a lot of people are going to die of corona. And well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And no one's talked about what are we going to do. No one's talked about how we're going to reopen the cities and make sure that people are safe. No one's talking about if we don't find a vaccine, what are we going to do next? Like, there's no anything. When people are just thinking, like, oh, it's just going to be summertime, we're just going to be able to sweat it out, or the sun is going to beam on our foreheads and everything's going to be good. And I'm like, that's not it. Because in the Caribbean, they have a corona and it stays hot in the Caribbean. Belize, in Belize, the country in South America, a lot of people are getting demolished by the coronavirus. There's literally bodies piled up in the streets, bodies piled up in houses because they can't get rid of the bodies and put them in the burial ground quick enough. So in places that it stay hot and the corona is able to devour, what makes me think in the summertime it's just going to be all breezy. Like people are not thinking. People are thinking that we're going to go back to regular schmegler life, and I just don't think that's going to be it, not anytime soon. And even when corona isn't as bad as it is now, I just don't think we're going to ever go back to regular schmegular life. Honestly, I just think people are just going to get fed up and be like, I don't want to chance it. That whole, just kind of like HIV changed the way people interacted and like had sexual engagement with other people. Before, people, especially gay folks, they didn't really think about using protection because they're the whole thinking of it is I can't get pregnant. So if I can't get pregnant, I don't need to use condoms. But after HIV happened, and HIV is still a thing, 40 years later, we still have HIV. We don't have a cure for that. But you gonna tell me that we're gonna have a cure for corona by the end of 2020? Yeah, okay. Is there a cure for herpes? Yeah, okay. So, um, yeah, when HIV hit in the 80s, a lot of people had to change their sexual routine, their sexual fluidity, how they got down. People had to use condoms because it became real, and it didn't matter if you were gay or straight. The most like devastating thing wasn't pregnancy, it was also a life risking disease. So I think with corona it's going to change our way, the way we interact with people, our hygienic practices, how we even engage in sexual intimacy, because people going to ask you, do you got HIV and do you have corona, even though it's not sexually transmitted, but it's just the fact that it's an airborne virus. And the fact that he might have it, he cough on your titty, and next thing you know, you got it. Oh wow, I didn't know that. Hey Melissa. Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And the thing about it is, when Corona first hit, I wasn't nervous. Then when Corona really exploded, I was kind of nervous. And then now I'm just kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's my trust in the universe, or maybe it's just me being willfully ignorant, or taking a leap of faith. But I just don't believe that I'm going to be impacted in a bad way by corona, in the sense of like being in in like a medical life or death situation, or even death. I just don't believe that's going to happen to me, nor is it going to happen to anybody that I'm like friends with or related with, because I've actually, talked to the divine, meditated on it, and asked, like, let me know what's going to happen, because I would like to prepare. And I have a moonology deck, and it's basically the different phases of the moon, as well with like zodiac signs, to tell you like what they mean and whatnot. And I think I got either the new moon or the full moon in Cancer, which is like basically you're safe. So I just don't believe. On top of that, like, I'm pretty healthy. I don't have any diseases or anything like that, and I've always been hygienic. My hygiene has always been up before Corona. I always wash my hands. I always have a bottle of hand sanitizer on me. I don't use my outside clothes inside. Like, I've always been able to separate things. So, am I the most cleanest person? Am I Mrs. Clean? No. But am I the typical person who don't wash their hands after they take a poop? Definitely not. I got to see some family today, and I'm glad I got to see them, but I'm scared of the virus. I don't think, and this is my advice, I'm not a medical professional. I don't think you need to be scared, as opposed to being vigilant and being prepared. Like, this is a unseen war of sorts. So you have to have your Clorox, you have to have your Lysol, you have to have your hand sanitizer, you have to have your mask, you have to do your social distancing, and you have to keep your body up to par. You have to eat healthy. Like, if you do these things, I'm not going to say that's going to 100% protect you from the virus. But what I will say is that it will make sure that you mitigate your chances of getting it. And if you do get it, your bounce back rate will be better versus someone who eats McDonald's all the time, hardly exercises, don't wash their ass, and breathes down the neck of other people. So I really believe it's just what you do versus it just coming to hunt and get you. Because it's not like Bird Box or anything. Though I think it's very interesting how Hollywood gave us Bird Box, and then here comes Corona from China. Interesting. And just like Bird Box, you couldn't see it coming, but when it took you, it made you crazy. And now everybody's paranoid about Corona, but that's another conversation for another day. But I really just think you got to be prepared. Just be prepared as much as you can. And I also believe it's keeping good spirit. I've watched a lot of videos about this, honestly, way too much to be honest. And I've seen elderly people in their 90s, 80s, 100s be able to um basically bounce back from corona. They got it, and they were able to go to the medical professionals and get, care, and bounce back. So I'm like, if Randy, who's 98, can bounce back, then I damn sure can bounce the fuck back. And I think it's keeping good spirit, again, being prepared. Um, taking action in regards to your health, in regards to your cleanliness. And I also believe it's keeping your mental state up, because if you're always thinking, Corona's around the corner, Corona's on this handle, Corona's in the air, Corona's in my mind, then it's going to make you paranoid. And it's going to make you not take precautions, slip up, make mistakes, and it's going to literally beat you down where you feel like you're a victim, and you just, it's my time, Corona, just come get me because I'm just tired of fighting you. I think you have to be aware and you got to be proactive, but don't allow Corona to make you feel as if it's hunting you down and you can't do anything about it, that you're a victim to the virus. I'm not going out unless I have to, and everyone had on masks, and we all applied hand sanitizer, and that's how you got to do it. That's exactly how you got to do it. I know some people. I remember in, when was it? I want to say late February or early March, before people were talking about wear mask and lockdown and all that stuff. I remember I went to the supermarket, and me and this white guy, he had a professional N95 mask, but I only had the like a scarf around my face. And I remember this like stay at home or Lulu yoga pants wearing, my husband pays the bills and I fuck the gardener type of bitch was looking at me at the grocery store like, oh, what is she doing? Like she didn't say anything, but her eyes was just like mocking me. Like, oh, you're wearing a scarf. Like, isn't that extra? And I'm like, bitch, wait till you fucking find out, bitch, because I'm not catching not a goddamn thing. I got gloves on. I got my scarf around my motherfucking mouth and nose. Try me if you want to, ho. And it was funny because I was walking up and down the aisles, and there were certain aisles that were empty. You would think that it was some type of festival or some type of holiday like a Fourth of July or something, but I've never seen parts of shelves that were like dead ass empty. Like the rubbing alcohol wasn't there, the hand sanitizer wasn't there, the Clorox wasn't there, the paper towels were there, even certain meats weren't there. And I've never seen that before. And I'm just strolling down the aisles like, damn. And this white woman was just basically antagonizing me with her eyes. And I'm like, bitch, wait until you find out. 2, 3 weeks later, after I did that grocery run, then came the lockdown, then came the social distancing and everybody having to wear masks. So I'm like, being proactive, being aware, being the first one to take hints and really read between the lines will save you. Because let's say during that period when people were like, oh, it's not that serious, it's just a little common cold, we've had coronas before, this and the third. Let's say I was one of them folks. And I was walking around other people, breathing in that nasty ass air, touching things without my gloves and whatnot. I could have been one of those sick people in the hospital, one of those people on ventilators, because I thought people were just being hyperbolic and people were just doing things for attention. And I just wanted to be a part of the crew. Sometimes you got to be that odd one out and be like, yo, I'm gonna take the signs and I'm gonna do it that way. Everybody's over here, I'm gonna do it like this. And ever since that, I always go out with some type of protective barrier, whether it's a mask, whether it's a scarf, whether it's something. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how I'm going to do it in the summertime, because in the summertime, I like wearing my shorts. Okay. I like, showing my legs, showing my arms. I like being free. I like that wind between my hair follicles. Like, I like that. I don't know how I'm going to be able to adapt to being safe and adapt to summertime routine, because Corona can stay on surfaces. So it's not advantageous to wear short shorts in public where there's Corona, because you can have it on your legs and you just don't know it. You can't see it. So I don't know how I'm going to go about it, but a chickie got to figure it out. And I was hoping that I could do sailing this year like I did last year. But then it's like, do I really want to be on a boat with folks that I don't really know like that? And if they got it, it's not like they gonna know, especially if they just got it yesterday. Their size like a week, 2 weeks later. So it's interesting. You're gonna have to rearrange the way you go about things, the way you interact. But safety is first and foremost. Um, I ain't playing with this virus. I saw my boo and I legitimately sanitized every part of me after seeing him. That's what you gotta do. That's what you, and you have to use the soap with the antibacterial element and do the best that you can. Also, I might just buy some loungewear and try to work out from home because I know I'll be home for a while. Yeah. I mean, I got my cousin who is still in college and she has to adapt to like college courses at home, which I'm be honest with you, like my college days are over. I did it, done it, got the degree and the loan from Sally Mae to prove it. But I don't think I could do that whole online course thing because I actually like the going to my classes, interacting component of it, meeting my professors, being around my peers, bouncing ideas. Like I actually like that. So to work from home or take classes from home, I don't see my ass being that much engaged. Not saying that I can't do it. I just don't think my energy and my effort would be the same because I actually enjoyed going to class. But my cousin, she's like, I got to do it from home, and I keep up with my assignments, and she be late. Like me when I was in college, I'm not going, brag, but when I was in college, I actually loved doing my homework. I loved turning them shits in early. If I had a writing assignment, I was that bitch. If everybody had to write 2 pages, I wrote 15 pages, especially if it was a topic that I really enjoyed. Like I liked going to college. Whereas my cousin is just like, look, I got to do this thing. I got to make my mama proud. So I got to turn in my reports and do my assignments. But she's not as studious as I was. But if I were to be in college during this whole corona situation, I'm be honest with you, I'll turn in my reports when I feel like turning in my reports. And that's just that on that. Period. Online school is harder than really. Why is it harder than regular school? Because I feel like it would just be more distractions, like write this paper or Twitter, do research or YouTube. Like I just feel like I just get caught up. Versus if I was actually in school and I was actually in my class, I can't get caught up because you right in front of my face and I'm around like 25 other people. Like I just can't get caught up. And I used to really beat my own ass. Like, all right, we just came from class. Let's do our research. Let's prioritize. Boom, boom, bam. Like, I actually did like doing my homework. I was that type of weirdo. I cheated on my finals and I laid in bed through one of my lectures because it was early. Okay, Smell, talk your shit. Speak your truth. But would I go back to college? Hell motherfucking no. I got the student loans that my ass still gotta pay for, as well as like I feel like college was an experience. I quote unquote needed college and not necessarily for the job market. It was more like a personal goal of mine. Or I guess I did it to show people that I could do it. But would I do it again? No. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of money, a lot of debt. And no, I wouldn't do it again. And I feel like everything that I want to know or need to know, I literally can Google it or I literally can take some online course and figure it out. I don't need college. I don't think anybody really quote unquote needs it unless you're a lawyer or want to be a lawyer or you want to be a doctor or want to be an engineer. Like those folks who are really, hands on when it comes to people's lives, yeah, you do need college. But do you need college to be a theater arts director? Not really. Do you need college to be a chef? Not really. Do you need college to be a professional YouTuber? Not really. Just things that make you think. Um, I still pass my classes, so I'm not pressed about my slacking. I think that's my cousin's mentality too. She's like, I'm passing them, so it doesn't even matter. Which I guess in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't if you are passing your classes. So it is what it is. But I know a lot of people are going through it, and I feel for people. I still waiting on my stimulus check that hasn't came yet. But then again, I filed, and I didn't do direct deposit. I filed in March, And I know my mother just got hers like a week or two ago, but she filed earlier than me and she didn't do direct deposit either. And though looking back on it, I'm like, damn, if I would have filed direct deposit, I probably would have gotten it earlier. But I'm be honest with you, I don't trust the government for not a goddamn thing. I definitely don't trust no feds, and I don't want them being able to directly do anything when it comes to my motherfucking money. And that's on period. So I understand the benefits of doing direct deposit, especially during this Corona season. But I don't, because if you can directly deposit anything in my account, you can directly take from my account as well. You can directly count my motherfucking money. And hell to the nah, nah, nah. Get the fuck out of here. We not gonna CCP the United States government. I don't think so. Keeping that to myself. Um, Also, I hate institutions that want you to print stuff out in 2020, like take my online documents and go. I feel that. I feel that. I also feel that way with companies like Amazon and eBay when you buy something and you want to ship it back and they're like, oh, you need to find a printer. And I'm like, printers are still a thing? Where the fuck am I gonna find a printer? During Corona? Bitch, what? I'm just kind of baffled. Like people still print. And it's like, no, we're past that. We're millennials and Gen Zers. We don't know what printing is. Does it have a barcode? Because we don't know what that is. My dream college wants me to print my documents and my printers under my bed with no ink and paper. That's tragic. That's absolutely tragic. But I have no other choice than to be here for this Corona season because it's not like I can hop in my rocket ship and just chill out in Venus until everything is mitigated or whatever. But I think if you're not doing nigga shit, you're not gonna get caught up. And even if you are poor and you are going through Corona and times are tough, there are still food banks. I don't know if you can get on Snap and cash assistance and things of that nature, but if I were you, I would look into it. I mean, get all the provisions that you possibly can because you just don't know what this will be. You just don't know. People are trying to act like it's gonna be okay once it hits 80 degrees, once it hits 95 degrees. And I'm just like, you say that shit as if you know it for a fact, and no one knows anything for a fact. Everybody thinks they're just gonna wait it out, and no one's coming to the table with actual plans or ideas or anything. People just want things to be how it was before Corona, and how things were before Corona is how we got to Corona. So we have to figure out different ways to exist while Corona is here, but people just don't want to think that far. I'm going to print that shit at the library and go about my business. The library is still open? Because I know in my city, the library is not open. I needed to go to print something and I had to go to Staples. I know Staples allow printing. I know certain FedEx, I think FedEx office, they allow printing too, but you have to pay for it. But maybe you're different because you're in Florida. So maybe Florida is different. But like here, certain things are gonna start to open, but it's gonna open in Monday, on Monday. Schools for the rest of the years have been canceled for the kids, which low key, I was kind of like, damn, that's never happened when I was a kid. I had to go to school all day, every day. The only time we didn't get to go to school was during when we had harsh snow, like snow days and whatever. But even then, it was a couple of days. It was never for the rest of the year. So I was hated. I was like, damn. Like the 10-year-old me came out, I was like, why couldn't I have no school? But then I realized I'm grown, A, and B, all them kids who think it's a vacation, they ass is gonna duplicate the same grade next year. So fuck around if you want to. Corona's not gonna be an excuse for your ass to be bumped up to the next grade if your dumb ass didn't do the homework. So there's that. So I hope that I can find printing paper and ink. If you If they're not open, I would suggest going to Staples or any other like retailer that sells like home office goods, because I or like a Target or whatever, because I know they have ink. I know they have paper for sure, but I don't know if they have the particular ink or the ink cart that would best fit your printer. So you could also look into that if the library isn't open. I had such high hopes for my birthday. Like, I wanted to travel. My birthday already passed, but I'm just saying, I wanted to travel. I wanted to go to this Caribbean cruise. I wanted to do a lot of things for my birthday, and I couldn't. And I'm okay because, I'm not sick. I ain't got corona. Baby girl still living. But I really wanted to do things. I really wanted to go out. I really wanted to have a good time, and I couldn't. And now I'm kind of nervous about what will the summer look like, because I love the summer. I love the heat. I look good in short shorts. I have nice toned legs. So it's like, how am I going to survive in the heat? But I got to protect my body from the invisible enemy. Like, I just don't see how that's going to work. I just don't see how that's going to work. I know in Massachusetts they canceled all the parades and festivals and things of that nature, which makes sense because you don't want people to be packed up against each other and catch corona. But it's also like, what will the summer look like? Like, how we're going to interact when the kids are already out of school, but now they want to go outside because it's hot, and you want to go outside because it's hot, and you want to do activities and whatnot. How is this going to pan out if we're all locked? Well, we're semi locked down. Things are still open, but like, you don't know who got it, and they don't even know they got it. So it's just like, what are we gonna do? Can we go to the beaches? Can we wear short shorts? What's gonna happen? Now that makes me scared. Not because it's much more it's more so vanity if anything else. It's like, I can't wear the favorite shirt that I want. I can't do this. I can't do this. The limitations that quote unquote make me scared versus the actual virus in itself. Because no one, even with the Clorox, even with the hand sanitizer, like Clorox kills viruses. So that's more of a, like, I guess, death or a secure way of killing corona. But hand sanitizers, not so much. It clears off bacteria and viruses like 99%. But no one's ever said, like, oh, put some rubbing alcohol, put some hand sanitizer on a surface that has corona, then watch it disappear. No one's ever actually said that. No one's actually brought up that evidence. We don't know. We just don't know. And that's the scary thing about it. We just don't know. Mm. I miss my friends and family, but I'll be away from them to save their lives. Definitely. And it's about being selfless at this time, because it's easy to be like, well, I want to do this, and I want to go here, and I don't want to da 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 da. But you really got to consider like the safety of other people, especially if you're around people who are older, who are sick, who have compromised immune systems. Like, you have to be considerate because it's not just your life. Like, you might be okay if you catch corona, but like, your 75-year-old grandma may not. And if you live with her or you're around her, you might bring the virus to her immune system. And then, I'm not going to say you quote unquote killed her, but you definitely did not protect her life. So you have to be very aware of that. Florida is slow, so they want to open. Like, can y'all value people before a dollar? And that's the shit that really has me like, because it's like the politicians are telling folks they don't give a fuck about the common man. It's the bottom dollar at the end of the day. The fact that, I believe it was Texas governor who said, senator or governor who said, there's more important things than living, says a lot. Like, the fact that corporations and businesses are so eager to open up, and I get it. You still literally need to pay your bills. You still need to keep things afloat. Like, I get it. People want to get back to their jobs because they got bills to pay. I totally get it. However, what about your life? What about the lives of other people? Like, this shit don't make no sense. And people are acting like this game can't be stopped. Like, what is it for the government to be like, okay, we're gonna wait this thing out. Like 2020 is done. It's done. It's a wrap. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna stop all loans. We're gonna stop all payments. We're gonna stop everything, and we're going to work, us in the government, us in science, us in doctors, we're going to work on either a cure, no, we're going to work on a cure and a way to mitigate society for 2021. So if the cure happens first, then we all set 2021 January 1st, boom boom bam, everything's going to start back up. Or in the meantime, while them folks are working on the cure, we over here, we're going to work on ways to get around and be able to work while corona is happening, while everybody's being devastated. They're not doing that. They're just kind of like, damn, things need to go back to regular schmegular life. And it's like, it's never going to go back to regular schmegular. So, what are we going to do now? How are we going to mitigate it now? And no one's coming up with things. And people are just like, well, the poor people and the old people need to sacrifice their lives so everybody else can be straight. And I'm like, ain't nobody going to go with that plan. Ain't nobody going to say, yeah, I'll sacrifice myself. You should be able to live your life and you should be able to have your way of being um be prioritized over my existence. Yeah, sure, why not? Let me be the first one to take the plunge. No one's going to do that. Absolutely nobody. So, this mentality of, well, the rich need to be able to get back to their regular lives. Poor people and old people die so we can be better, so we can live our best lives. No one's going to sign up for that. And that's just crazy that they even said that shit. But again, it shows the people that we elect don't give a fuck about us. So, why do we keep electing them? This doesn't make any sense. If you haven't heard from a friend for 2 weeks, do you call them or let them be? I would say call them. I would say call them and be on some like, hey, just thinking about you. I just want to know everything's okay. It's a hectic time. I know everybody's processing, you know, this pandemic differently. I just want to make sure that if you need anything or someone to talk to, definitely hit me up. Thinking about you, keeping you in my prayers. So some people process it differently where it's just I need space, I just need to be alone. And hopefully, knock on wood, they're not, you know, yeah. I remember my boo legit surprised me to come see him, even though I told him not to because I was social distancing. I legit almost cried and couldn't even hug or touch him. Child, it be like that. It really do be like that. I mean, I feel like those who are quarantined, they're in relationships, they live together, whatever, whatever, and they're self-quarantining, they're living their best life. They getting peen on demand, like they working from home, like they on a little solo dolo vacation thing. I'm like, you know what? That's cool. Those who ain't got no peen or they are they have a significant other, but they're not living with a person, they're not self-quarantining. I'm like, damn, it's rough for us. It's rough for us. We really out here trying to have to survive without our significant other or survive without someone that we can like hug up with. It's just like, damn. But I'd rather take that than being with somebody who's either beating my ass because domestic violence rates have increased during this lockdown and globally because it's hard enough to be with someone who's beating your ass when there wasn't a global pandemic, but now that you have to be isolated with this person, you have to be self-quarantined with this person, y'all are locked down in the same home, it's easy access for this person to whoop your ass. So I'd rather be single and alone than be partnered up and get my ass beat. Definitely. Like the boy has a good heart, but he's a Libra, and I just feel like I don't ever get with him for real. What are you? What is your sign? He's a Libra. Libras are cool for the most part. Kind of wishy-washy. They're indecisive. That's their thing. They're very indecisive. Aquariuses are wishy-washy. And speaking for air signs, Aquariuses are wishy-washy, Libras are indecisive, and Geminis have that kind of split personality thing. They're they're supposed to be balanced. Every sign is supposed to be balanced, to be honest. But when it comes to the air signs, because they're airy and air you can't apply your five senses to, but they have such strength. You see how wind and a tornado is able to like destroy things. It's kind of that wishy-washy element, kind of like water. Water, you can't taste it, you can't hold it, you can't anything, but the same water that's just be able to fill you up and nourish your body is the same water that can drown you in a tsunami. So they kind of have that element of like inconsistency, um all or nothing type of energy when it comes to water signs and air signs, but you see it mostly with air signs. I'm a Sagittarius. Okay. Sagittarius, fire and air. Fire and air do mesh well together versus air and like earth or air and water. So Sagittarius is a mutable, Libra is a cardinal. So y'all should be able to get well or get along well enough. Sagittarius is kind of like a know-it-all, but it's kind of like the philosopher. Well, they get along well with people. They're very, I wouldn't say they pop off because they like having a good time. They don't like confrontation, but if need be, they will pop off. They kind of like are inconsistent in things because they just want to sample everything versus Libras are more nurturing. They're a little bit more stable. They are more sociable. They are somewhat vain. They like pretty things, nice things. I think Libras and Sagittarius could get along well. Um, yeah, I think what could not work out with those signs if they are too fixated on themselves or they are too fixated on what the future can bring versus staying in the now with Libras and Sagittarius. But yeah, how long have you been with your boo, Mel? I don't know where Amber left. Well, Amber was here for like a good 10 minutes and then she dipped. Low key, I didn't even think anybody would show up to this live. I'm like, I'm gonna have this live on Friday at 6 p.m. Slept over past 6 p.m. Then I was like, okay, I'm gonna have that live at 11. Got caught up, and then ended up doing it around 1ish. And I'm like, ain't nobody coming to this live, and y'all came through. My boo is a pilot boy from last year. Oh, so you still with the pilot boy? Okay. Damn, I heard pilots are getting hit hard with the corona because, like, basically the airline industry is suffering. Most places ain't taking people from other countries to come to their country to infect their population. That's the byproduct of globalism. When there's a pandemic, it hits everyone. Versus before globalism, when a pandemic hit, like let's say the Black Plague, it only devoured segments of the population that were infected. But like when the Black Plague was going on, it was devouring Europeans, but it wasn't harming anybody in the Americas or anybody in the Caribbeans because we weren't going to Europe. But now that we have globalism, some shit that happens in China affects the whole globe because we're all moving in and out of places. That's crazy. But I think being a pilot is super cool. Minus the whole, I just watched Final Destination like a couple of days ago. So now, like, when I think of flying, I used to think about it like, oh, yeah, going to sleep and waking up in another country, another town, another language, another culture. Like, that's a dream come true. But after watching Final Destination, I was like, my black ass might want to reconsider. My black ass might want to reconsider because, ooh, child, you're not going to get my ass. The fuck? No, ma'am, no, sir. No, ma'am, no, sir. Especially the last installment, Final Destination 5, towards the end where the plane crash happens, which I don't even get why they did that ending, because then it brings us back to the first installment, which makes sense because everything happened after the first installment. So now it's like a looping circle. Like that doesn't make sense. But the ticket that they had in the final destination of the fifth, whatever you want to call it, the ticket said May 13, and that's my birthday. So I was shooketh when I saw that movie because it was the day before my birthday. So that shit had me shook. So now I'm kind of reconsidering, flying, and I love flying, and the likelihood of you crashing flying is significantly less likely than if you were on the road in a car or in a train or whatever. But mm, now I gotta reconsider. And that's just that on that. He's been my friend since we met in math class. He's generally a sweetheart. That's a Libra. When they're not indecisive, that's a Libra. It scares me how he's never ever angry, and I do get angry at him for 5 seconds, but it never lasts long. That's good. You should be able to work out your frustrations. You shouldn't sit and um mull over things. You shouldn't be able to sit and rehash things and stay on things and become harpish on things. You should be able to go through your emotions, go through whatever you're thinking of or doing or whatever, talk it out with your significant other, and then be like, all right, this is how we're going to figure it out. This is how we're going to move on forward. Like, this is our resolution. Because that is actually a bad trait of Libras when they're in their retrograde aspect. But I don't think a guy not seeing him get angry is necessarily a bad thing, because a man who's quick to pop off is a man who can't control his emotions and anger, and oftentimes that leads him taking it out on you, and that's dangerous. So if a man is not quick to be upset, or you don't see him being upset often, that means it probably takes him a long time to get upset. Now, if nothing ever bothered him, if you never seen him any other emotion, that would make me curious, because now it's like, not necessarily that you're faking the funk or lying. That makes me think, can you even process emotions on some cluster B psychopathy social path, because you're not showing any emotions or you're not comprehending emotions? So to me, that would make me think like there's something wrong there. But him not being angry about things that may make you angry or other people angry might just be he has better self control. I've known him for 3 years. That's a good amount of time. The thing that irritates me about him is that he can be distant. Distant in what manner? Distant is not necessarily bad, because the opposite of that could be clingy. But if he goes ghost and then pops up out of nowhere, that means that there's something else holding his time and gaze, and that something else might be another woman. So, what's that about? He's communicating distant. Give me an example. Because men are not the best communicators, even if they're Geminis. Men are not the best communicators. They're very A to B. Like, women can give you an elaborate picture, all types of description, um, ad libs and similes and metaphors and all that grand gesture, where women are like, I get it. Men are like, huh? they get lost in the details. So you got to make it very brief, very direct, very to the point for them to get it. Whereas women are multidimensional, they get the whole picture. Men are very laser focused. They have no peripherals when it comes to like communication. So you have to be very direct. Like I'm distant too, so I can't fault him. I'm still kind of confused what you mean about the distant thing. I got mad at him last year and legit didn't talk to him until March of this year. Last year, like December, which is still kind of long, or last year, like before December, because that's still also pretty long. Because I really can't fault you because it's youth and immaturity, and I would be lying if I were to say like I've never done anything like that because I've done that quite a few times. But you can't resolve anything or grow from any type of relationship if you're playing silent treatment because the person's either going to get tired of the silent treatment or they're just going to be like, oh, bet I could do it better. So before December. So what made you angry for you to be like, yeah, I'm out? And then what made you be like, all right, it's March, let me come back? Because March is around the time lockdown. March was around the time like people were being told to stay at home. So did you pick things back up because you were lonely or you felt scared so you wanted someone to lean on? Because that's a long time for you to be like, I'm outie, and then pop up months later, especially during that pandemic time. And then during that time, maybe you'll tell me in the chat, but you didn't mention anything about him reaching back out to you. Because, like, me not knowing anything, just me throwing my 2 cents in, it's pretty abrupt to be like, all right, I'm outie. It is what it is. And for him to just to be able to accept that. Like, y'all didn't have a conclusion, y'all didn't wrap it up. There was no, um, what is that shit called? Closure. There was no closure. It's just like, it is what it is. So that's pretty interesting. But then again, if it wasn't serious, perhaps you just didn't feel the need to have closure. But it's interesting because I'm not even gonna lie. Around the same time, I had finally cut off my relationship turned situationship with my ex, and I ghosted him, and it wasn't even on some like revenge shit. It was really on some this is not healthy, and I just gotta let this shit completely go. And that was very beneficial for my own growth as an individual. But that's totally different. We matched on a dating app and started talking from there. The distance was because we went far for school. So that's distance in the sense of physical, but just because you're physically distant doesn't mean that you have to be communicative difference because there's people who are in different time zones, but they still make an effort to keep in contact, to keep communication with their significant other in a different time zone. It's tricky, but they make it happen. So, and I'm not gonna lie, this is from my personal experience. I would not do dating apps anymore. Not saying that you can't find love, you can't find a relationship, that there isn't anybody good on dating apps. I just find it, in my personal experience, a lazy way of dating, and it's very surface level because you're matching with someone's profile pic and what they say about themselves, and then you're matching with an idea of them, and then when you meet them they try to mask said idea, and then the longer you get to know them you realize they don't meet up your expectations, and I just feel like it's the same ring around the rosy versus when you meet them out in real life. What you see is what you get, what you interact is what they are. And then the longer you get to know them, the deeper that foundation, that initial um, meeting is solidified. I feel like on dating apps you can recreate who you are versus in real life it is what it is. But that's just my personal opinion. But I know people who met people on dating apps, fell in love and all that jazz. Me personally, I wouldn't do dating apps again. Unless it was a dating app where it's like people are getting background checks, everything is being verified, like to the T. But not in like Plenty of Fish, Tinder, that type of shit. And there's a lot of nakers on dating apps too. And nakers love portraying to be something that they're not. Um, so tell me more. I understand the distance was because you went to different schools, which makes sense. However, like, what happened? Like, did he have a busy schedule? Did your work schedules not match? Did you have like extracurricular activities? Like, what else besides the physical distance made it impossible or hard for y'all to keep in touch? Because, like I said, there's people in different time zones that make it happen. Like, really, I distanced myself because at one point, we just saw each other almost all the time, and I was legit developing mild irritation with him from too much contact. Okay, that's real. So you needed space. That's good. You don't want to lose yourself in a relationship or a man, so that makes sense. But like, did you convey that message where it's like, okay, I need some time to like regroup and find myself and balance school, me as Mel, and then Mel in this relationship, or did you just ghost him? Because like communication is very important in any relationship, even when you're not a Gemini. And then if you did tell him that, how did he receive it? Yeah, the space was good. I got a lot done. How did he receive it? If he received it. I kind of ghosted him. So you can't talk about how he's distant when you literally ghosted him. Like when you ghost somebody, you're distant. Like, did you expect him to like be on some, "Where art thou, my fair lady? Where art thou, Mel? I need to see you. I need to find you. I need to go on an adventure to get my lady back." Like, what did you expect him to do? Like, wait around, come hunt you down? Like, what was the expectation when you ghosted him? Because when I ghost somebody, it's not an invitation for you to chase me. If I ghost you and you pop back up, I'm gonna put a restraining order on you because like I ghosted you for a legitimate reason and here you are. You're a widow. When I ghost you, there's no expectation of us rekindling anything. And that was back then. Now I wouldn't necessarily ghost anybody as opposed to just telling you like it's not gonna work out and it is what it is. I didn't expect him to do anything of that. He's a sensible sort of man. Okay. I did miss him and think of him in on some time to time. Okay. And then how did you pop back up and then how did he receive it, you popping back up? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, if someone ghosts me and then they pop back up, I'm gonna block them. I'm be honest with you, I'm just gonna block you because like that's some fuckboy shit. You're gonna ghost me, especially if we were really talking, we were really getting to know each other, and I've opened up and he opened up and he just ghosts me, then he pops back up. I'm just gonna block you. I'm not even gonna give you the satisfaction of you even getting a response from me. I'm gonna block you. I, we met on a dating app and we spoke and it was good. So you knew him in real life. You were kind of talking, I guess, and then you fell out and you ghosted him, and then you went on a dating app and then you saw him and then you matched with him. Am I correct? That's interesting. That's on some like TV special type shit. I think it was a coincidence that I found him on the app. It was a good coincidence. Okay. I guess when you meet someone like that, I think that's a better way to go about it. Like the coincidence and chance of things versus like coming back and be like, hey, I know I haven't talked to you in like 5 months, but like, how are ya? Because to me, I'd have been like, block. But if you match on a dating app, you can always play that whole, it's not the best way to go about it, but you can always play that, oh, right, we did talk 5 months ago. I thought you looked familiar. What's your name again? G- George? Right, yeah, George. Uh-huh. You can play crazy. Or you could just be like, we just a coincidence. I was thinking about you, but I wasn't sure to make that first, leap of faith. But now that I found you online and we matched, it is what it is. Like, let's pick up where we left off, whatever, whatever. So that's good, I guess. But I think you should work on that whole communication thing, which is interesting because you're a Sagittarius, so you should be able to be flexible like that. He's so charming and he calls me boo and all those little pet names, but I'm wary because he can be too charming. Too charming like he's cunning, or just too charming where it's cheesy, which is smart. You should have your peripherals on when you're dating or talking to someone because you don't want to end up being the fool. Because honestly, it doesn't matter how many pet names he gives you, it's really all about the action. What is he about? What is he showing you? What is he doing? That's what really matters. Because he can call you pet names from here to the moon. But if he's taking you on McDonald dates and talking about suck his dick in the car, he's trash. He's just absolute trash. Fatra. And do you feel like when he is charming, does it come from a genuine space, or do you think it comes from a space of like manipulation? Too charming where it feels like you're being sold something. Ugh. If you feel that way, don't dismiss it. Because even if you don't understand what that means, that is a sign from whether you want to call it spirit, your gut, your intuition, whatever. Don't dismiss it. I would, if I were you, perhaps not relay it to him, but I would try to figure out like where is that feeling coming from? Does he smile too hard? Does he have a wandering eye? You say he's distant. Does he like go ghost for like 3 days and pop up and he's just like, oh, I miss you, beautiful. I was just so focused on my paper. And you're like, nigga, you could have shot me a text. I talked to you like 72 hours ago. Now you're responding back like, what? So like try to figure out where that's coming from, but like definitely don't dismiss it because he could be on some snake shit. He's always been nice and respectful and patient with me, which is great traits to find in any man. But if you feel like someone's giving you a salesman's pitch, definitely be aware of that. I actually worked for someone very briefly who had that, and I always was like, he's a car salesman. And he did that because he was selling bullshit, and people didn't really notice it until they were at their wits' end. Whereas me, I noticed that shit within the first 3 weeks. I was like, he's just a car salesman. He's always trying to sell you some shit. You got to be aware of that. You got to be aware of that. My coworkers weren't because they were just so happy to be here, happy to have the job. And I was like, nah, it's bullshit. Y'all need to peep that. Y'all need to see what it is, what it isn't. And by the time everybody understood where I was coming from, everybody got burned. I was lucky enough to leave before I got burned. So definitely don't dismiss your intuition because that's a sign from the divine. But I would try to figure out where that's coming from. What about what he does gives you that feeling of too charming, kind of cunning? Where's that cunningness coming from? Because he could just naturally just be cheesy, like Safari. He could just be cheesy and corny, and perhaps that's coming off as too charming when it's innocent and corny. But it could be something deeper. My dad is a salesman. I know not to believe people. Men who try to do that salesman shit, they're either trying to skin you out of pussy, out of money, or out of common sense, honestly. If you feel the person's giving a salesman's pitch and there's no need for them to do that, they're trying to buy favor. So when they do drop the ball on you, you're too impressionable to even get it and run. Does he got papers? Is he from this country? Does he have kids? Does he talk about an ex? Is his living situation straight? Does he got a job, a legitimate job that pays? It got benefits? Do you got a kid? These are the type of things I would be thinking to evaluate why am I feeling this salesman pitch? Because looking back on it, I can at least say for at least two exes, they had a salesman's pitch to it. And looking back at it, I understand why they were doing that. At the time, I didn't really see it, but looking back at it, I definitely see it. I think it's when he uses a lot of romantic pet names and calls me love, boo boo, or baby girl because they're common. He's born here, he's Jamaican. He could be cheesy. He could be like Safari and be cheesy and corny. Is this his first relationship or what? Is he like trying to get you to do things that you may not necessarily want to do or things of that nature? Because I don't know your business like that. But sometimes dudes will try to pet name you out of like, again, your common sense, your money, or your vagina to see if it's gonna work. Run game. He's full time in school, doesn't even ask me for a penny, and he's Jamaican. Okay, that's good. He shouldn't be asking you for no money, period. And he should be in school or graduate, period. That's just like the absolute basic bottom starting point. No, but I just feel like he's just a naturally romantic person. Yeah, he might be corny. I mean, he's a Libra, and Libra really does fall hard when it comes to the whole romance department. I don't know, he might just be a cheesy guy. But if I were you, I would definitely try to figure out where that feeling of, you doing too much, you just too extra right now. I would try to figure out where that's coming from. It might not be a malicious place. It might just be he's just a corny guy, but you never know. And there's nothing wrong with taking your intuition seriously because your intuition will save you from a lot of shit that could have went wrong, a lot of shit that could have ended your life or put you in a real fucked up position. I know plenty of times in my own personal life where my intuition kicked in and I didn't get it at the moment, but looking back at it, I'm like, thank fucking God. One particular situation when I was a teenager and I was hanging out, um, I wouldn't I wouldn't say the bad part of town, but I was hanging out in an area that I had no business being in, and I was just keying it with some guys, and they weren't my boyfriend, they weren't my friends either. They were just some guys keying it. It was the summertime, fool la lying. And I remember the last bus to take the train to take another train so I can get home. And in the corner of my eye, I see the bus, and it was like almost like 12. In like Massachusetts, the train system ends around 12:30. So at the time it was like 11 something, almost 12, and though it wouldn't be the last bus, but if we missed this bus, then we would have to either walk our way to the train station or be stuck out in this area, which was not the preferred choice. So I was like, oh shit, we gotta go, we gotta go. And me and this girl, who we ain't even friends today, we weren't even friends back then. I don't even know how I got mixed up with that situation. But we ran to take the bus, and then we were like a hair thick of missing the damn bus. Thank God the bus driver actually stopped because it was about to pull up off us. So we got on the bus, and then we got to the train station. We got home safe and sound and all that good stuff. Days later, we went back to the same spot, and the stoop that we were hanging up, keying it with these random ass hood niggas. Come to find out, there was a nigga on a bike who rolled up and shot up that block. There was like one or two people who got hit with the bullet, but by like milliseconds, me and old girl did not get shot. And we were standing right in front of the stoop. We were standing on the sidewalk. So if they would have pulled up and shot, we would have gotten hit and we probably would have died. And because I was able to see from the corner of my eye that bus was coming, we have to go. Oh shit, it's almost 12. We don't want to be stranded. We were able to leave. So it's those little minute things in life that literally can save you life or death. It literally makes a difference. So you cannot dismiss it because you may not see it, you may not understand it at the moment. And at that time I was 16. I'm grown as hell now, but it's those small instances that literally save you, and you have to be aware. um he's just literally a person who's very friendly and the with the whole world. I've observed him. Yeah, it just could be his personality. Like, he's a Libra, so he just might just be extra thick with the romance thing. But maybe even let him know, like, after you did your investigation, you did your intuition, you realize, like, all right, he's safe, he's just corny. Perhaps be like, you know what? We're together. You're my man. I'm your girl. You can call me like a few pet names, but when you baby girl, boo boo, bae, my girl, my woman, when you say all these things at once, it's very corny. Like, you could just say one pet name at a time. You don't need to combine them all together. Thank God. Yeah. So, but it is almost 3. Thank you for doing this late night creep with me. I don't know when I'm going to do another live, but I actually like this. I actually like hopping up on YouTube and talking to you in the comments. I had a birthday live stream on the 13th, and that was fun. Amber came through. A couple of other people came through and we had fun. I want to do this more often, but I'm not going to give a specific time and date because Lord knows it may not be it. But I will do more of it's actually sun outside versus a late night creep. But I thank you for coming through. Hopefully, I was able to assist you the best way I can. If you don't know, I have a new Instagram. The old Instagram, I'm not really active on that. I have a new Instagram. It is titled or called Paint Your Truth, and then underscore. It's all one word with the underscore. So follow me there. Happy belated birthday, V. Thank you, Mel. And yeah, I upload videos about like tarot, astrology, series called The Mutables, Fixed, Cardinal Signs. So it's a little bit more deep about like what your zodiac sign is, how does it fit into your personality, and all that good stuff. And I do videos about astrology. Sometimes it's trending topics. Like I did that video about that white girl who tried to use voodoo to get back at her ex-girlfriend who's black, and then it backfired, and then she got her ass got by Lua. So I did a video about that, like why you ain't supposed to fuck with shit that you don't know, especially black magic. How you gonna use black magic on black people and then get your ass motherfucking got? That's what your ass deserve. But I did a video on that and other things, so definitely follow me on there. Um, I want to build up enough of a following on YouTube and then do private live streams on my website because I figured out that I can actually live stream on my website and it can be private. So there doesn't need to be any peeping outsiders. No one has to eavesdrop. You can stay away from nakers. It's a private space. But I want to accumulate enough following and enough traffic on this page so I can tell people to sign up on the website. But if you want to sign up anyways, because from time to time I do blogs there, you can definitely sign up on viasme.com, www.viesme.com. And yeah, if you want any tarot readings, any spiritual guidance, you can definitely DM me on Instagram or email me at viecineisme@gmail.com. And yeah, all my shameless plugs are there. 2020, even with Corona and all the shit that's going on with Corona, I have such big plans and I just can't wait. I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue. It's on the tip of my tongue. And I'm so excited about that because I feel like my life purpose is coming into fruition and everything that I've went to school for, experienced, and all that jazz is coming to a climax. I don't want to say anything too soon because nothing's really concrete verified. But once it is, I will definitely share it with the world. I will scream it from the rooftop. But for right now, I'm in the planning stages. So ride with me, ride with your girl. And y'all have a great morning because it's actually morning. Be blessed, be enlightened, be loved. I am out. Peace.